That was a good game right there. I'm not going to lie. That was a good game. And the Fever are now 6-10 after going, what? They're on a 3-game win streak? They've won 4 straight home games in a row? They were. And again, another 17,000 people or so at the game, which is very, very impressive. As far as the Mystics are concerned, it was not a great game for Aaliyah Edwards. Like 4 points, 4 rebounds, only played 20 minutes, was benched most of the second half. Not a very good game for Aaliyah Edwards. But again, she's a rookie, it happens. Carly Samuelson shot the damn lights out. 3 of 6 from 3. She balled out today. But Ariel Atkins, look, she takes a lot of shots, but she makes a lot of shots. Ariel Atkins was, 8 of 9, I think, from inside the 3-point line. She was very, very good. Not the greatest game for Van Loo either. And then Dolson just shoots the ball. She had 14. So 27 for Ariel Atkins. You could maybe argue that she was the player of the game. But for the Fever, they had their main 4. Their main 4 were what carried them, which was Caitlin Clark plus 12. I'll talk about her latest because these are all probably here for Caitlin Clark. And I mean, for any of the people that are here for Caitlin Clark, would definitely appreciate it if you would subscribe. Like, if we could somehow hit 8.8k by the end of today, or even 8.75k, that would be crazy. And of the 650 you guys currently in this live stream, if we could somehow get to like 8,750 by the end of the stream, that'd be insane. But Nalissa Smith was good. Like, there was a couple of times, as far as field goals are concerned, she switched off. Caitlin Clark drew 2 players and kind of threw it behind the back pass to her, and she switched off and missed it, which is, like, again, a growing pain situation. She also kind of, like, missed a gimme there at the end of the game, kind of fumbled it. But Kelsey Mitchell, this was the best I'd seen her shoot. She just made everything. She made everything, and she was able to abuse the matchups because they put Ariel Atkins, who's the best defender for Kelsey Mitchell. They put her on Caitlin Clark, which meant Kelsey Mitchell could just run past Samuelson every single time. As far as like Aaliyah Boston is concerned, this is the best I'd seen Aaliyah Boston like shape-wise. She was just running up and down the floor. She was playing bully ball with the bigs. She was dominant. 22 points, 8 rebounds. She turned the ball over twice, but again, I didn't notice really the turnovers. But I will say, like, the big 4 really did a good job, I thought, together. Especially when the 4 of them were on the floor at the same time as each other. I thought it looked good. Like, heck, like, they were so good together that when Christy Wallace was on the floor with the starters, she was plus 8. Christy Wallace is not a very good basketball player. 1 of 5 from the field, and her one basket was a wide open fast break layup. 0 of 4 from 3, and like she's shooting like 27% on threes, and like this is not like normal threes. These are practice shots. No one in 10 feet of you, she's shooting 27%. And she can't play defense. She should not be on the floor ever. Lexi Hull at least plays defense. Didn't shoot particularly well, but got a nice layup. Katie Lou just got a couple of shots. She didn't do much. I didn't see her do much good. I didn't see her do much bad. Erica Wheeler, by the way, should never be on the floor at the same time as Caitlin Clark. Because when Erica Wheeler's on the floor, they tend to go to the Caitlin go stand in the corner, and then, oh crap, the other team's coming back. Yeah, Caitlin, now your time. Now you do you. You do you. I just really don't rate Erica Wheeler. I think Erica Wheeler and Wallace, the sooner this team can get off the 2 of them, the better. I would say the two of these players really like should not be playing 36 minutes combined. They really shouldn't. Lexi Hull should be in that starting lineup, and there is no reason for Celeste Taylor not to be playing over Erica Wheeler. Erica Wheeler is like, I don't necessarily even know if she's a good defender, but she just kind of like runs around, and she kind of just runs around and fouls sometimes and takes the odd charge. Like, she was getting absolutely cooked. Absolutely cooked by Ariel Atkins. To be fair, so was Christy Wallace and so was Lexi Hull. But in that game, that was a really good game for Caitlin Clark all around. Like, to start the game, it was crazy because they went for the Steven Adams, Russell Westbrook tactic where Aaliyah Boston, because the last game, and like it was what I said the last game was like the guards what you have to do when you're coming up against bigs who like to rebound is you just get the bigs out of there and let the guards rebound. So Caitlin Clark was coming in to like clean up a lot of rebounds when Aaliyah Boston and Alyssa Smith were actually boxing out today. So then she was able to push the floor. Like 6 assists. If you watch that game, the amount, like she got her teammates wide open threes at least 8 or 9 times in that game. They just missed it. The turnovers, I genuinely am like, I'm trying to think of like the 6 turnovers. She had one where she launched it out of bounds on Aaliyah Boston. There was one where she threw the ball to Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston caught it, brought the ball up, got the ball tipped out of her hands by somebody else, and it was given as a Caitlin Clark turnover. But you just know the box score merchants who didn't watch the game are going to just say 6 turnovers and not take into account that she was plus 12 on the floor with 12 boards, 18 points, and 6 assists, and ran the show. This was the best the 2-man game of Clark and Boston has looked, especially to start the game. 3 assists in the first couple of minutes. It really is. It's really the 2-man game of Aaliyah Boston and Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, the 2-man game as their main option with Kelsey Mitchell. When Kelsey Mitchell doesn't have to do that much, she's good. Like the less shots she takes, a lot of the time the better. And then Alyssa Smith is one of those players where it's like, you don't run anything through Alyssa Smith, but you can run stuff to her. Like, she's not someone you're going to run a pick and roll. She's not someone who you're going to look to get the ball to. But 16 seconds into a shot clock, the ball gets to Alyssa Smith. She's got good hands. She can go to the basket. She can finish a little bit. But you don't run things through her, you run things to her. And it's very clear that they're running through Caitlin Clark right now, as much as Kelsey Mitchell too. And then you're also looking at 4 steals for Caitlin Clark, which was a really, really good game. Like, that was... I'm not going to say it was Caitlin Clark's best game because it was not as good as her game against the Sky. But, like, we're now seeing a team look like they have an identity. Like, the team actually looks like it has an identity, which is huge. Which is absolutely huge. Like, 4 home wins in a row, 3-game winning streak. And yeah, I get it. They're beating bad teams. But the Mystics are like a good bad team. They're running everybody close. The Sky are like, people are like, oh, the Sky are winners. They're on a 5-game losing streak. The Fever on a 3-game winning streak. The difference is like, who cares if you beat the Liberty once if you've got a worse record? At the end of the day, with how bad this league is, with the way the WNBA works for the playoffs when 8 of the 12 teams make it, you make the playoffs by beating the bad teams. You don't make the playoffs by beating the top teams. You make the playoffs by beating the bad teams. It makes no odds in general. It makes no odds in general how they get on against the Liberty or the Sun or teams that are just better than them. Other than the one loss against the Sparks, they are, 6-10 right now? They have beaten every other team in ranked 7 and below. They've beaten every other team. Like, if you look at the standings right here when it comes to this, the Fever. Sorry. The Dream and the Aces are the same. So let's just say the Dream are 7th. They have beaten the Dream. They've beaten the Sky twice. They've beaten the Mystics twice. The Wings might be the worst team in the WNBA until they get better injury-wise. Like, they might be losing Enrique as well. And then they've only beaten the Sparks once. They've lost to the Sparks once. They've lost 1 game against, if you replace the Dream and the Aces. All this section here. Which is, like, really, really impressive. Like, beating the teams around you is how you do well in a 40-game sport league. Especially when you're a young team. Your goal is to get a bit of playoff experience and eventually just kind of get there. But shout out to the Fever. They're actually getting an identity. Shout out to Aaliyah Boston. Look, she's playing her way into shape. She's going to be in better shape over the Olympic break. It's very clear that she it's very clear that she underestimated the offseason. She did not show up in shape. That's not like that. Calling it like it is. She didn't show up in shape. She's playing her way into shape. She's starting to play a bit of bully ball. Her confidence is coming back. Caitlin Clark's starting to find her a little bit. Still, sometimes Caitlin Clark's hitting her with a few tough passes, but it is what it is. They're growing pains. Kelsey Mitchell's has the ball in her hands way less now, which helps. Nalissa Smith, again, is playing well. And look, when Temi comes back, this is a team that might win 14 games, 16 games, maybe 18 games. If you go 18-22, like, if they go 500 for the year, which I don't think they will, because they still haven't had, like, the gauntlet. But, like, this is a team that went through the gauntlet, went down the gauntlet 2-9. 2-9 out of the gauntlet, I think, of their 11 game 20 days. They came out of the gauntlet 2-9. Since then, they're 4-1. They've won 5 of their last 7 games. So this is a team that's actually getting some identity. Whereas a lot of the other bad teams are really struggling.